Armstrong, we say a good prospect of new evidence producing a different result. This case should be tried as soon as possible, he adds. Armstrong, Mr. Justice Francis is to now consider whether the case should be heard before a different judge. Francis has said treatment futile. Oh, right, okay. So that's basically the judge has got prejudice, basically. He's prejudiced the treatment. So that's why they're calling for a different judge, because he's already expressed a prejudice in relation to the treatment. Armstrong, should the case be heard afresh, or can Mr. Judge Francis reconsider his earlier conclusions? Armstrong, if you are minded to reconsider, Charlie will go abroad for treatment. If not, his ventilator will be removed, and all right, okay. If you are minded to reconsider, Charlie will go abroad for treatment. If not, his ventilator will be removed and he will die. Armstrong to Mr. Francis, judge again, so still speaking to the judge. Are you prepared to change your mind? Judge, I wasn't expressing a view. I did my job. This is okay. Here we go. So the kind of the barristers are bringing up to the judge that you prejudiced this treatment. So you got to withdraw which is very tricky for a judge to withdraw his comment. So they're asking him to withdraw his comment, or we need a new judge. If you bring me new evidence, and I will be the first to welcome a different outcome. It would be wrong to change judge. Would it be wrong? Would it be wrong? It would be more wrong to kill a baby. Mr. Judge Francis, public pressure and perception should not be the reason for having a new job. Armstrong moves on. Charlie Gard, it's clear that this case won't be resolved today. Counsel now discuss arrangements for a full hearing. Won't be this week. Armstrong suggested July. Judge, I'm troubled by a long timetable given the evidence from staff at Great Ormond Street that treating him is contrary to his best interest. See, this is where I related it back to the Great Ormond Street. This is the Great Ormond Street's case against the parents. All right? So whatever your love and support there is for Great Ormond Street is the director of this legal action. So whoever's like I showed in my previous video, that doctor at the head of it it's essentially his wishes to pursue the switching off of the life support machine. Judge asks about the media reports the treatment would have a 10% chance, so they start basically criticising this 10% chance. Where did this figure come from? Parents' counsel addressed court for 45 minutes. We have not yet heard from counsel at Great Ormond Street, so he's saying let's have the counsel from Great Ormond Street speak. Judge, it is deplorable that Armstrong and his college have to represent the parents without fee as legal aid is unavailable. Judge thanks them for pro bono. They're basically doing it out of their own pocket. But I'm sure there must be an arrangement to pay them on success. Again, from those massive legal fees that people donate for. So this is why I'm pretty much against donations for legal fees. Thankfully, these people have done it on pro bono. But, you know, the idea of creating a £1.3 million pot that everyone is aware of, and then you start going, well, we can do it pro bono, but if we win, these are our fees, you know. It's happened with a number of cases, but I'll skip on to that. I've already made my opinion known about that. Katie Gallup, Queen's Counsel of Great Ormond Street. Here we go. We made this application because we received letters on Friday. One letter from Italian Hospital and the other from parents demanding that the case referred back to the court. Great Ormond Street Hospital now asks what's new. What, if anything, is available now that wasn't available in April. Great Ormond Street have been looking for the evidence that Charlie's parents could provide. That was around a 10% figure. Excuse me, just check the recording time. Have no idea. So they're asking, hey, where's this hope? Where's this hope coming from? Great Ormond Street are criticising the parents' idea of hope. Judge, parents must set out all the material they say that justifies the challenge to order. I will allow a complete rehearing. Gollop Q for Great Ormond Street orders. The alleged new evidence is not new. What's the date of the new research relied on by the parents? If it's before the court hearing, it's not new. So this is interesting. See how the Great Ormond Street this is? This is the representatives of Great Ormond Street giving a hardball to the parents. Great Ormond Street wants him to he wants to stay. Reminds Mr. Justice Francis that he had the benefit of having visited Charlie. Who represents Charlie says that Charlie's guardian also wants to know what has changed. the hell is this? Victoria Butler Cole, who represents Charlie's interests, says Charlie's guardian also wants to know. So this is like another mother or another father coming in here. That's very interesting. Butler Cole, US doctor, appears not to have changed his view on what Charlie's best interest. Butler Cole, why experiment on a child who would not be suitable for a clinical trial because of his irreversible brain damage? We know Charlie's parents do not accept the brain damage, and that is his head circumference has not changed in 3 months. This is just a Charlie's parents' beliefs are well founded. Morphine. They're giving him the baby morphine now because they think the baby's in pain. We do not support the parents' suggestion that you should stand down and be replaced. This is the barristers playing games. Armstrong for parents said there's a 10% figure is one on which the clinicians. Evidence of this will be given at a future hearing. So this figure is being provided by someone, and they're questioning the reliability of a 10% chance of success. There was evidence that Charlie was irreversible brain damage. White House and parents have misunderstood judges' previous rulings on Charlie's best interest. Great Ormond Street has looked at an alternative UK hospital that was prepared to look at Charlie. None was willing to take him. Charlie Guard parents now finding it difficult to stay silent. Judge tells them they have good lawyers who will represent their interests. Mr. Justice Francis begins his ruling. Everyone in the court wants to do the best thing for Charlie, he says. My decision in April was upheld by the Court of Appeal and the UK Supreme Court, the European Court of Human Rights agreed. This is not a new case. Great Ormond Street Hospital are worried that the damages being done to Charlie. I have decided this case. I must decide this case on evidence, not tweets. Oh dear. No grounds on which should reduce myself to stand down. It would be wrong for another judge to step in. This case is listed for a full day this Thursday. I won't accept the parents' timetable. Parents must file written evidences by Wednesday so I can tell whether it is new. I don't expect to hear oral evidence then. Shit. Okay, so basically they have to put it in. They have to have evidence in paper. They're not going to take oral evidence. Don't take oral evidence. So yeah, I'll give you oral evidence. Or give them a testimony. Write down a testimony. I believe this will help. And just sign it. You know, I believe this. I swear herein be true. So you know, if they want paper, just put your word down on paper and sign it in blood. That's paper evidence. I've been authorised to give this case absolute priority. I'd be delighted if I was able to change my mind, but I must apply the law. Now, here we go. He's applying the law. What law? Family court law. Yeah? The rules of family court. The judge is bound by family court law proceedings. The Children Act... Oh, fucking hell. Sorry. The Children Act 1989 says... Oh, really? A fucking act of government speaks to you, does it? Who's this? Francis J. The child's welfare shall, sometime in the future but not today, be court's paramount consideration. So there we are. Child, unborn fetus welfare shall, some point in the future, be the court's paramount consideration. We are not making arrangements at the moment for witnesses to give video-linked evidence, but I won't refuse to hear it on Thursday. The judge explains that he may not be able to make a final decision on Thursday does not rule out the possibility of the case running on to Friday. I would like clinical records of Charlie's head circumference, so they want to see what's going on with the head. Judge tells Connie Guard, it's not Connie Guard, but directly that he has an open mind and will be considering the evidence he receives. Hearing adjourned. During the hearing, Charlie's parents interrupt proceedings and aired concerns directed to the judge. Late, Mr. Guard yelled at a barrister representing Great Ormond Street bosses saying, when are you going to start telling the truth? Hoo-hoo! Frisky. Don't ever react to what's going on the other side. Don't think there's anyone there. Remember, on the other side, you have a Great Ormond Street hospital. A Great Ormond Street hospital is a what? It's not a who. Okay, it's not a flesh and blood living thing. It's not like James Smith on the other side is talking crap. It's Great Ormond Street Hospital. All right, and Great Ormond Street Hospital has employed barristers, and they're not. You might see people on the other side, but these barristers are actors. They're acting as barristers. They're acting in the best interest of their client. Their client is a fictitious entity called Great Ormond Street Hospital. So to actually speak out of turn and address another side party when there's no one there, there is no one there. They're all actors operating for something called Great Ormond Street Hospital. So to say to someone when you're going to start telling the truth, they're not even saying anything. There's nothing there to be said. You're in a family court which allows this kind of nonsense to go on. So there we go. Yeah, so it sounds like they had a tough day actually reading that. The judges asked for circumference of the baby's head to prove that it's growing. They're asking for the mum and dad to put down this evidence that isn't tweets. So they're obviously a bit pissed off about the public attention that this case is going, is getting, which is fine. But at the end of the day, the only way that they're going to have any say over what happens to this kid, is to take it out of family court. And funny enough, in that very building, on my little adventures, I found the county court, where you can go in and write a handwritten filing and bring your case and say, excuse me, I believe this little baby is my property. If anyone wishes to trespass, interfere, interlope upon one's property, they'll, do as you wish, but, I will seek fair and just compensation for any damages. And by damages, you mean switching off the life support machine to a baby. But yeah, very interesting. But it's such a hoo-ha, this, man. The Great Ormond Street, to put these guys through a court case, especially in family court. Absolute shocker. But, hey, it's been set up for this particular purpose of allowing state to do what's in the best interest of the child, so that parent and government can sit down equally and professional can administrate your property based on what they believe on a prescribed set of rules, what's in the best interest for your little one. And until you tell them otherwise, that it isn't something that they can have any authority to discuss, then they're just going to crack on with what they're doing. There we go. Bit of a long one, I apologise, but it was a complicated court case.